start. So today we actually going to learn molecular orbital theory. Okay, MOT. Previously, we have learned like BBT. We have learned. We have first we have learned what? First we have learned Lewis diagram. Then we have learned VSEPR theory. Then we find some drawbacks in VSEPR theory. After VSEPR theory, then we learn VBT, that is valence bond theory. Okay, now we have to see that what are the drawbacks in the valence bond theory and what is MOT, that is molecular orbital theory. And this molecular orbital theory, you can say this is also because of it is also derived from quantum mechanics. So let's start today's class that regarding molecular orbital theory. MOT, that is molecular orbital theory. Okay, molecular orbital theory. Next. Now, next thing, what are the drawbacks of VBT? What are the drawbacks of VBT? First, see the first thing, paramagnetic nature of oxygen. Paramagnetic means what? If we take that oxygen gas in between the two magnets, okay, it will be attracted by the magnet. Okay, paramagnetic behavior means paramagnetic material means which will be attracted by the magnetic field. So if we put oxygen gas into a magnetic field, it will be attracted by this magnetic field. And paramagnetic behavior is because of the presence of lone pair electron. But according to VBT, if I consider oxygen, the configuration of oxygen is what? 1:2, 2:2, 2p6, 3:2, then 3p4. That means 16 electrons. That means 8 pairs. Electrons means what? 8 pairs. So that means they have 8 pairs of electrons. And because of the presence of these 8 pairs of electrons, so that means no free electron is available, no lone pair is available. So, but it should be a diamagnetic molecule. But it is not a diamagnetic. It is a paramagnetic molecule. Okay, so that cannot be explained by VBT. The paramagnetic nature of oxygen can be explained by MOT. Now, next is inertness of N2. Inertness of N2. So, see, what is the structure for N? Nitrogen gas. 3 double bonds with 1 lone pair. Okay, we know that nitrogen gas is inert because our atmosphere has 78% nitrogen. If it is reactive, if nitrogen is reactive, then what happens? Continuously millions of reactions will be taking place in the atmosphere. But that does not happen. Nitrogen the presence of nitrogen in the atmosphere is 78%. And it is totally inert. It is totally inert. Right? So that is the reason actually. So what is the reason? So see, we can say alkyne is there, which is inert, right? Suppose cyanide was there. They are not inert. They are also having triple bond, but they are not inert. Why nitrogen is inert? Okay, so why nitrogen is inert, we can explain by MOT. We can explain why nitrogen is inert by MOT because of their homo-LUMO different energy differences, we can understand. And the formation of coordinate bond. So formation of coordinate bonds when A gives its electron pair to B and form a bond. This coordinate bond formation, also we cannot understand with the help of VBT. Okay, so these are the main three drawbacks. These are the main three drawbacks of VBT. To overcome this, we have to learn MOT. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now what is MOT? See, MOT and VBT. What is the basic difference between MOT and VBT? That we will learn. See, read it thoroughly because MOT is very, very important, right? In VBT, a molecule is considered to be made up of atoms where electrons are occupied in atomic orbitals, like oxygen. If I want to form an oxygen molecule, the oxygen of two atoms will be in their own orbital. They mix, the atomic orbital will mix and oxygen molecule will form. See, in VBT, a molecule is considered to be made up of atoms where electron occupy atomic orbitals, okay? Atomic orbitals of same atom combines to give hybrid orbitals. Yes, so atomic orbitals will combine and they will give hybrid orbitals. Atomic orbital only combine and they will give hybrid orbitals. That thing we have learned from VBT. That means each and every atom have their atomic orbital. The electron will be occupied their atomic orbital. That these two atomic orbital individually they will mix and they will combine a hybrid atomic orbital. These are the basic thing we have learned from VBT. But if we consider MOT, so what is MOT? Now, MOT means what? Molecular orbital theory, orbital of molecule. MOT means molecular orbital theory. That means what? Orbital of molecule. So, in MOT, valence electron are contributed to be associated with all the nuclei. So, suppose if I consider ammonia, okay, the valence electrons of nitrogen and the valence electron of hydrogen, they will be under okay, they are this, that means the valence electron of here, valence electron, 5 valence electron, 1 2 3 4 5, and here is for each hydrogen there are 3 valence. This 8 valence electron under the combination of all the nucleus, that means they are in the influence of nuclei of nitrogen as well as 3 nuclei of hydrogen. Okay, see, in MOT, valence electrons are considered to be associated with all the nuclei. That means in a molecule, here 4 nuclei are present, 1 nuclei for nitrogen and 3 nuclei for hydrogen. So all the valence electrons are in the influence of these 4 nuclei. Okay, these 4 nuclei. And in molecule, and atomic orbital combines to give molecular orbital. Here AO means atomic orbital, okay, and MO is molecular orbital. Okay, AO is atomic orbitals here and MO is molecular orbital. So that means in atomic orbital, the orbitals of individual atom has been considered, but here in molecular orbital, the orbitals of total molecule will be considered. Clear? Clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, next is main features . Main features of MOT. Main features of MOT. Number 1, electrons in a molecule, okay, electrons in a molecule belongs to the molecular orbitals and are the influence all nuclei. Okay, so electrons in a molecule belongs to the molecular orbitals, okay, and are the influence of all the nuclei. They are in the influence of all the nuclei. Okay. Now next, MOs means molecular orbitals are polycentric. MOs are polycentric, while AO is monocentric. Okay, molecular orbitals are polycentric, while atomic orbitals is monocentric. Yes, in MOs, molecular orbitals, all the electrons will be, we are considered as a single orbital, molecular orbitals. But in case of atomic orbital, each and every electron should be in a specific atomic orbital. So that's why they are monocentric. Okay. Just like atomic orbitals, okay, just like atomic orbitals, Pauli's principle, then Hund's rule, and Aufbau principle are valid. In case of MOTs also, Hund's rules, Aufbau's principle, Pauli's principles are valid. And the next thing is that the number of MO formed, that is the number of molecular orbital formed, is equals to number of combining atomic orbitals. Clear? Features has been clear or not? Suppose two atomic orbitals.
Yes, ma'am.
That means two atomic orbital combined means two molecular orbital will form. Two atomic orbital combines means two molecular orbital will form. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we are moving to our next topic, and the next topic is linear combination of atomic orbitals. Linear combination of in short, it is known as LACO, L-A-C-O. Linear combination, very, very important. Linear combination. So that means atomic orbitals, that means this theory, that's MOT theory and VBT theory, I have told you, they have been derived from quantum mechanics. And in quantum mechanics, it has been considered as a single atom system, okay, because for multiple atom system, that is the calculation will be very, very tough, very, very complicated. So this concept is actually based on single atomic system. So in linear combination means here two atoms combines linearly. Okay, here the atoms has been considered as a wave function, so they has been combined initially. Suppose this is the wave function for one atom. Okay, and this is the wave function for another atom. And when these two combine, not like this, sorry. Okay, when these two combine actually, then after the combination, what happened? The wave function make big. That means interactions take place. So that means linearly combined. They can be subtract, they can be interact, but linear combination will take place between the wave functions of the atomic orbitals and molecular orbitals will form. So we can say that when two atomic orbital combine, two molecular orbitals are formed. Now, here one thing you have to remember. When two molecular orbitals are formed, there are two types of molecular orbitals. One is bonding MO, and another is anti-bonding MO. One is bonding molecular orbital and another is anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay. In case of the bonding molecular orbital will have lower energy. Bonding molecular orbital will have lower energy. And obviously, when the energy is lower, stability will be greater, then greater stability. Whereas anti-bonding MO, okay, anti-bonding MO will have higher energy and lesser stability. Okay, bonding MO, two types of MO will form when two atomic orbital combine. Two types of MOs are formed. One will be bonding MO, another will be anti-bonding MO. Okay, bonding MO will have lower energy and greater stability, whereas anti-bonding MO will have higher energy and lesser stability. Clear till this much?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see.
Yes, ma'am.
With the help of a diagram, let's see. Suppose this is one atomic orbital and here is also one atomic orbital. When these two combine, okay, so these are molecular orbital. Okay, this is BMO bonding and the above one is ABMO, anti-bonding molecular orbital. Suppose these atomic orbital have one electron. So first bonding molecular orbital will fill up. Then if it have extra electron, then it goes to the anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay. Then it goes to the anti-bonding molecular orbital. If suppose here two more electrons are present, suppose, then anti-bonding molecular, then the electron will fill up the anti-bonding molecular orbital. This is the energy gap and energy is increasing like this. Energy is increasing like this. So obviously it will have the less energy and it will have the high energy. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's see with the help of a phi function. Okay, again I'm drawing suppose these are the two bonding orbital. This is the energy difference. This is energy increasing like this. Okay. Now this is actually anti-bonding. Anti-bonding will be shown by like this. Okay, sigma star, and bonding will be shown by like this, sigma. Okay, in case of sigma, okay, in case of sigma, psi A plus psi B, that means two-wave function. In case of two-wave function, interaction will be taking place. In case of bonding orbital, in case of bonding molecular orbital, psi A plus psi B, that means interaction between the molecular orbital, interaction between the phase of the molecular orbital will occur. And in case of antibonding, in case of antibonding molecular orbital, that is psi star, then psi A minus psi B, that means sigma star, that is antibonding. And there subtraction between the wave function of the atomic orbital will take place. Okay, suppose this is the wave function for atomic orbital psi A. This is the wave function for atomic orbital psi B. In case of bonding, addition will take place. In case of anti-bonding, subtraction will take place. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Now, bonding molecular orbital, see this one, BMO, bonding molecular orbital, okay, will have lower energy than atomic orbital. Yes or no? Bonding molecular orbital will have lower energy than the atomic orbital. And obviously,
Yes, ma'am.
antibonding orbital will have higher energy than that of atomic orbital. ABMO will have higher energy. Than atomic orbital. Now here one thing you have to remember or understand, the energy gap. Suppose this energy gap is delta dash and this energy gap is delta. So always the energy gap, that means delta dash always greater than delta. Okay, for bonding we have to, suppose for bonding we have to spend 5 energy. Suppose for anti-bonding we have to spend 6 energy, if I consider it is in a number. Okay, if suppose bonding we have the profit of 5, if we do the bonding we'll have the profit of 5. If we do the anti-bonding then we'll have the profit of that means loss of 6. So the energy difference between the atomic orbital and the bonding and anti-bonding, in case of anti-bonding, the energy difference is higher than that of bonding. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, bonding, anti-bonding understood properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, conditions for linear combination. Conditions for linear combination. Conditions for linear combination. Number 1. The molecular orbital will have same or nearly same energy. Okay, so the atomic orbital should have same or nearly same energy. Then maximum overlap of combining A's. That means linear combination is possible between the orbitals where maximum combination will take place. And the third one is same symmetry about the axis. Same symmetry about the axis. That means they will have the same symmetry about the axis. Then only linear combination will possible. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
That means same energy will require, maximum overlap, and same symmetry. Then only this is the main condition of linear combination of atomic orbitals. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now next is physical significance. Physical significance of MO. Physical significance of MO. Very important. MO have definite energy levels. Sorry. MOs have definite energy levels MOs have definite energy levels and their shape depends upon the shape of combining atomic orbitals. Okay, so that means all the MOs have definite energy and their shape is dependent upon the combining atomic orbital. The shape of combining atomic orbital will determine the shape of the molecular orbital. Okay, and now next is just as the electron distribution around okay, so just an electron distribution around the atom is given by atomic orbitals. Okay, the probability distribution around a group of nuclei in a molecule is given by M. So actually in atomic structure, what you have learned, where we can find the electron around the nucleus, the electron density is high. That means there will be an electron cloud. Just like the electron distribution around in an atom is given by an atomic orbital, the probability distribution around a group of nuclei is given by nucleus. So that means around the nucleus, in case of atomic orbital, what we have learned, around the nucleus, we can find the probability of finding the electron around the nucleus is high in case of atom. Just like in case of molecule, the probability distribution of electrons will be found by by the around the given nucleus. That means around the given nucleus, the probability of finding electrons will be high. Clear? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. I'm ending the class now.